Hey everybody, in this video, copper versus PEX, why I chose one over the other, how you transition between the two, and I think I burnt myself. So, let's go. We're here at my house today. I've gone through a major renovation and I'm still in the middle of it right now. We've taken down all the drywall, all the insulation, all the electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. So right now, I had the choice of PEX with the steel ring, which we can crimp, or which everybody knows, copper. This decision I made basically off of a personal choice rather than a professional choice. And this video is going to be geared around to DIYers who might be doing smaller projects, or you're replumbing a kitchen or a bathroom or something like that for yourself, and you haven't gone out to get a plumber. And what's popular, really. So the first one I'm going to go through is PEX. Comes in rolls, varying lengths. There are different types, but the one in particular that we're going to talk about that you can find at the hardware stores, like I said, is a steel ring. And obviously you're going to crimp that on, and you do have to have a specialty tool for it. Now what I have here, for example, is it's just a cap, brass cap, and we're going to put this onto the PEX. And this is if you had to cap a line, if you had to pressure test your system after you've hooked up all of your lines. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna slip your brass cap into the PEX. And obviously you wanna have this ring on before you put the actual connector, or sorry, the brass fitting on. Whether it's an elbow or a T or something like that, you wanna have that ring on first, because obviously it's gotta go over the fitting and the PEX. So then what we do is we take our specialty tool. It's really just, looks like a pair of pliers, and it has a cutout here for the actual steel ring. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it in there, and then we're gonna crimp it. So it'd be easier if it was in the wall and not just flopping around on something I've actually borrowed from my dad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna crimp it down, crimp it all the way until it stops. Now, how do we know if it's good? The manufacturer has a gauge. So there's varying sizes, 3/4, 5/8, 1/2 inch. So they actually have here on this steel plate is the gauge. You can't see it, but it says go, which means you're good to go, or no go, don't use it. Pretty simple. Let's check to see how it works. So right there, that's the no go, it doesn't fit. Okay, here, go. We've crimped it enough. The gauge says you're good to go. So that fitting will stop the water. Now, if we were to do copper, it's a little bit more labor intensive because your work is going to be involved in the prep. You really have to prepare the copper properly to basically get a good sweat joint. So really, once you've cut it, this one's already cut, we've cut this end here, you want to ream out the inside of the pipe. So you maintain the diameter, and there's a few reasons. You want to keep that flow in the pipe smooth and fluid. So we take, some of you may have seen this, here's your pipe cutter for copper, and it has this little metal piece right at the end. So what that's for is, if you don't know, is one, it's going to basically help you ream out the inside of this pipe. And all that excess copper is gonna come off, because once you cut this pipe with the pipe cutter, it actually pinches the pipe while you're cutting it. So it actually makes that diameter smaller, and it leaves a little lip. So what this reamer does is it cleans up that lip. Next step, we're gonna clean up the outside of the pipe. There's a few things you can use. I have some sandpaper tape here, right? We wanna make sure that all the oxidation, whatever we see, is off the outside of that, outside diameter of that pipe. And you can use the sandpaper tape, or there's these 4-in-1 tools. Just slip it over, you know, turn, same idea. Now that outside is clean. So you want to put on an elbow. We have to clean the inside of that, because again, it's got to be clean. You want to get a good solder joint. And once you've done that, there we go. We're going to take some Flux, put that on there, inside of that pipe. Okay, and the outside of this pipe, those two go together. And now you're ready to sweat that joint. Now we want the heat source near the bottom, and then we're gonna heat it up from here and then move to the back side of the pipe. So that heat's gonna draw solder into the joint. You can use propane, MAP gas. The MAP gas is gonna heat up the joint a lot faster versus propane. And then you have your lead-free solder. Again, this is all in the plumbing section of your hardware store. Now we're gonna let that cool down. Third option that I seem to find a lot of in the Home Depot, and I'm seeing a lot of professionals use it too. When I had my hot water tank switched over, or sorry, I should say moved, we had copper lines coming out of the unit, and for whatever reason, there was some PEX pipe that the plumber actually used to connect the old lines after he moved the actual hot water tank. So what he did was he took the Sharkbites. It's really simple actually. All you gotta do is, it allows you to transition from copper to PEX or PEX to PEX if you like, but it doesn't require much of anything really. It's a push and fit connection. So we wanna make sure that this end is obviously square, and we're gonna push this in. That's it, one connection done. And the second one for the copper, that's hot. And then we're gonna push that in. Hot, hot! We're gonna push this in. I don't really have a glove to hold it. Try not to do this. It's a little better when you wait for it to cool. So, push this in. Go, helps when you line it up. There we go. Now you've transitioned from copper to PEX, and you really didn't need any tools to make that connection itself. So this is actually great for DIYers, and there are other YouTubers who have done the testing to show whether Sharkbites hold and under what conditions. So if you're looking to do that simple transition, you're doing your plumbing in your own bathroom or your own kitchen, it's a great option. Now, the reason why I chose copper was it's because it's what I know how to do. I can pressure test the system. I'm confident in what I can do with the product itself. It's not to say that PEX is bad. There are some great products out there for it, but for me, copper is the way to go. Varying opinions, it's up to you. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.